and regulation for this webinar. So the presenter will going to finish the slide first, and then if you do have some question, just please type in your question on the Q&A tab, and then after the presentation, there will be a poll that you need to answer, and I will let you know when we will start the poll. So right now, we will start the presentation, but I just want to make sure that everyone can hear me. If you can hear me, please type in yes and on your chat on the Q&A tab. For those people who just recently logged in, if you can hear me, just type yes. And yeah, we can share the copy of the presentation in a while, but for the meantime, I will give the floor to Mr. James York so we can start the webinar. And by the way, can you all guys see the presentation? Okay, thank you. So I guess, yes, you can see the presentation. So I will give the floor now to Mr. James York so that he can start the webinar.
Thank you so much, Ron. Thank you. So hi, everybody. Thank you for joining the webinar promoting the upcoming trade mission to Estonia coming up in May. We're very, very excited about it, and we hope that we're going to see all of you there. So today's presentation is going to be called Doing Business in Estonia, the world's most advanced digital society and gateway to the Nordic and Baltic regions. And yeah, my name is James York. I'm the Director of U.S. Business and Innovation for Enterprise Estonia, which is the public agency that represents the business environment of the country. And I work from the Consulate General of Estonia in New York. And it's really a pleasure to be able to share with you a little bit about the country and the amazing business environment opportunities we have for you. So we're going to be running through a bit about Estonia and its life as the digital hub of Europe, how you can leverage Estonia as a launchpad into the European marketplace, why you should be looking to Estonia as your ideal business environment and partner. And then I will share with you some slides that were actually put together by my colleague from the Federation of Estonian Engineers, who unfortunately couldn't join us today. She's actually en route back from Stockholm, so she's currently flying at the moment. But I will share the slides that she presented. And then I will pass the mic to Victoria, who, as Ron said, is the COO of Entify. And Entify is a shining example of the really high-quality B2B SaaS startups that are coming out of Estonia. So you'll get to hear a little bit about what they do and get a taste and flavor for the type of companies that you'll meet on the mission. After which we'll dive into some Q&A with Ron. And there are a lot of slides. So we're going to move quickly, but don't worry, if you have any questions, we're going to address it at the end. Or of course, you can speak with either Ron or myself one-on-one after this. So let's dive into it. First, it's very important to know exactly where Estonia is. So 69th parallel, just next to Russia, right under Finland. Estonia is located in Northern Europe, and it is very much Nordic in its culture, its language, and its attitude. Linguistically and culturally, they're actually cousins of the Finns. So you'll find that the culture is very, very similar in Estonia and in Finland, as well as the business environment. It is larger than the Netherlands and Denmark. And at the peak of summer, fun fact, it has about 24 hours of daylight. So it's probably about 21, 22 hours. But in the winter, the sun will actually set as early as 3:30. So be very happy that the trade mission is organized for the end of May, because you will get some of the absolute best weather that the country has to offer. Estonia, a small and modest country, but we absolutely continually manage to punch above our weight. I think so much of its success is really due to the really unique partnership that's evolved between forward-thinking government and a really remarkably proactive IT sector that comprises of a plugged-in, tech-savvy population. Estonia is an absolutely tremendous information society. It is a member of the EU, NATO, WTO, OECD, the D9, so the 9 leading digital governments in the world. And it's constantly being cited and referenced by experts globally as an excellent example for other countries that are striving to establish an e-society. In fact, we're actually home to the e-governance academy, which has been running for about 17 years and has worked with more than 100 nations globally to help them build out their digital infrastructure. And about 50% of the knowledge and know-how that they house doesn't even come from Estonia because they've worked with so many different countries. So we really are this kind of central hub and nexus for everything digital and e-governance related. And the country and the business environment really, really reflects that. But it's also a very, very small country. So there are only 1.3 million people in all of Estonia. And for some countries, that might be a disadvantage. But Estonia actually realized that this can be a huge advantage because they use their size to be able to create effective solutions that can then be built up and tested quickly at a national scale, which means that Estonia is an absolutely fantastic test bed, not just for internal initiatives and public-private partnership projects, but also for companies that are looking for ecosystems and environments where they can test their new technologies, their new solutions at a national scale quickly and in an agile way. Estonia very much embodies a can-do attitude, and that's one of the things that I'm looking forward to you all experiencing when you come on the mission. As said, it's Europe's digital hub. We're increasingly doing more and more business in the US and Asia, and we enjoy kind of global status as Europe's hub for digital knowledge and just ease of doing business overall, which we'll get into in a little bit. So further to the concept of a digital society, Estonia became the world's first country to also function as a digital service. So it's a really, really unique concept and model at a national governance level. It means that the unique approach that's in effect in Estonia means that the country can offer state services to people outside of the country through a program called e-residency, which we'll touch on in a little bit. It means that you can register a company online, you can digitally sign and exchange encrypted documents, because digital signatures are considered legally valid anywhere in the EU. Having an Estonian digital identity is a remarkably powerful asset for you and your business because it means that you can interact within the European Union virtually without necessarily having to be there. So it's a huge, huge benefit in terms of time and cost savings and improving and increasing the speed of doing business. Of course, you can conduct secure online bank transfers. You can even do your taxes electronically. It used to take a horribly long time in Estonia to do your taxes. I believe everyone was suffering through about 5 minutes to get it done. I'm very pleased to say that it's now dropped down to about 3 minutes. So lots of improvements happening on that front. And I won't even talk about what it is here in the US as a US citizen. And in 2005, Estonia actually became the first nation in history to offer the option to vote online on the internet in a nationwide election. So it really, really is leading the world on these topics. Of those 1.3 million citizens, nearly everyone has an ID card. So it's a mandatory national ID card with a chip that carries embedded files and can function as your proof of ID in an electronic environment as well as offline. Similarly, through the e-residency program, you will receive a card with a similar chip. It can't be used for offline identification purposes, but in all online environments, it operates exactly the same way, and everything is built on top of the KSI blockchain, which is actually one of the earliest instances of blockchain, and it's been integrated into all governmental services and the entire digital backbone. Excuse me. So it's very, very secure. We're very proud to say that there is Wi-Fi and broadband internet access nearly everywhere in the country. So whether you are in the middle of Tallinn, which is the capital, or you are exploring a bog or a forest, you can check your email. So let's say the business culture is always on in Estonia. 98% of companies are established online, and yeah, at the moment, I think the stat is actually out of date, but about half of the population actually participates in national elections through their phone or through their computer. So it's absolutely amazing. For those of you who are interested in it, just kind of a little bit about the backbone and the infrastructure. Everything in Estonia runs on something called the X Road. So it's a digital exchange. It was started in 2001, and this is actually an open platform that we export to other countries, and we encourage other nations to use this technology to build out services in their countries, as well as large corporates and businesses, because there's a lot of benefits here. Implementing a decentralized model of information, because in Estonia there's actually a rule that the government can only ask you for your information once. So it's an ask once law that's on the books. And being able to implement that in practice so that all the different private and public sector entities that would actually need access to your data to help you administer all the services that you're taking benefit of, they devised the X Road. So it's a decentralized backbone, if you will, that safeguards everyone's information and allows for the secure transfer of data only to those parties and entities that actually need it. So because everything is built in such a way, it means that the Estonian business environment is tremendously transparent and tremendously secure. So it's a really, really nice feature, if you will, of the country that we can offer to people looking at doing business in Estonia. Not to mention the green benefits, as you can see here. It saves about 1,400 years of human labor annually, just because of the reduction of paperwork, and nearly everyone is on it. And as you can see, Finland, Iceland, Ukraine, and more. Everybody is loving the system and using it, and it creates more opportunities for interoperability. The more countries that adopt this system. Sectors, ICT, and these are all sectors that you will meet and can engage with on the mission when you come in May. Please speak with Ron from the ITC, speak with me, and we will make sure that you have meaningful meetings when you are in the country. So ICT, transport and logistics, business services, machinery and metalworking, electronics. The wood and lumber industry is very large in Estonia, and of course, the food sector. In terms of overall exports that Estonia is doing, these stats are a little bit old. I apologize for that. But as of 2017, you can see that we were very, very large on the export of machinery and mechanical appliances, which I will speak about a little bit later when I share the presentation from the Federation of Estonian Engineering. Wood and lumber, mineral products, and other manufactured goods are all around the same 11, 10, 9%, as well as base metals. There's actually a lot of that mining that happens on the eastern side of the country. So we have a 23 billion euro GDP. We are a euro-based country. Very proud to say it takes about 3 hours to start a company in Estonia, thanks to that wonderful digital infrastructure. And we are actually number one in tax competitiveness, ranked by the OECD, which I'll tell you a little bit more in a little bit. But as a teaser, we have 0% tax on reinvested corporate profits. So it's a very, very compelling business environment for that reason, in addition to everything else, of course. We have a 20% VAT, and as you can see here, the 0% on reinvested profits. We're number 2 on the index of economic freedom in the EU, number 1 for internet freedom, number 1 for entrepreneurial activity. I believe we have the highest number of entrepreneurs per capita. Ease of doing business, we are only number 12. And the reason for that, surprisingly, is that they still consider various factors in making that ranking, including the ability to fax. And nobody has seen a working fax machine in Estonia for quite some time, and so we lost some points on that. But we have much better solutions these days. So you can't talk about Estonia without talking about startups, because we are. So number 3. So this slide is actually wrong. I apologize for this. We're actually number 1 in the world for startups per capita. We have currently 4. So TransferWise, Skype, Playtech, and Bolt, which is formerly Taxify, all came out of Estonia. We also have GrabCat, Fortumo, Pipedrive, Starship Technologies. There is a robust startup ecosystem going on in the country that I'm very much looking forward to all of you getting a taste of when you're there, because it really is something special and unique. There are nearly 1,000 startups in Estonia across nearly every sector that you can imagine, from fintech to green tech, B2C, B2B, SaaS, IoT, you name it, we have it. It really, really is amazing, especially considering that there's only 1.3 million people in the country. As mentioned, we have 4 tech unicorns, Skype, Playtech, TransferWise, and Bolt. And Estonian startups have raised close to $1 billion in funding in the past 12 years, with 92% of investments coming from abroad. So there's a lot of foreign interest in the Estonian startup ecosystem, and I don't have the stat here, but I believe we are actually the number 3 destination for venture capital globally on a per capita basis. So again, investors know about it, and I always like to joke that Estonia really is Silicon Valley's best kept secret unicorn hatchery, because there are absolutely amazing businesses coming out of this country. We will talk about it soon, but Estonia also offers something fairly unique, the startup visa. So traditionally you have a business visa that has certain requirements that are sometimes difficult for early stage businesses to meet. The startup visa allows, on a case-by-case basis, for those requirements to be waived, which means that all of a sudden these business visas are accessible to startups. And we'll talk about that more in a little bit. So the partnership with universities, the partnerships with government, the partnership with private sector companies isn't just limited to government and private sector. Startups themselves also work closely with universities and different agencies to create new and innovative solutions. For example, Starship Technologies creates these very cute little autonomous delivery robots. And these were created in cooperation with the Tallinn University of Technology. And it's currently being tested and is in use in hundreds of cities all over the world. So whereas most people are looking at drones and thinking about flying, buzzing things that are a hazard to birds and planes, we're looking at the wheeled variety of drones that will actually bring you pizza and beer and groceries and anything that you can think of in 15 to 30 minutes. And it's amazing. Skeleton Technologies is another very, very interesting startup. So they're part of the Global Clean Tech 100. They're a European Space Agency supplier. And they're the European market leader in ultracapacitor-based energy storage. And they were actually created out of the University of Tartu. The trade mission will include a day trip to Tartu, and there are lots of really, really fascinating companies across biotech and all sorts of innovative technologies coming out of there because of the university culture and presence that is so heavily dominating in Tartu. It's about a 2-hour drive from Tallinn. And of course, Entify, which we'll talk on a little bit later at the end. Victoria will be sharing about their startup, and they do one-click legal entity verification, which is very, very important from a know your customer perspective. And they're serving companies globally. And they're actually one of Estonia's fastest growing startups. So that I'm very glad that they're able to join us today. So let's briefly talk about the Estonian startup visa. So the startup visa helps non-EU founders grow their startup in Estonia. So as you can see, I'm reading off of the slide. It is one of the world's best places to start and run a company. Hopefully that point has been made clear to you already in the 20 minutes since we've been talking. The startup visa started in 2017 to attract founders from non-EU countries and new talent to Estonian startups to make it easier for the recruitment of talent globally, because Estonia is very much a global-minded country and very open to new business and people. We have about 2,150 people who have relocated or been granted the right to move to Estonia through this program, mostly coming from Russia, Iran, Turkey, India, and in terms of hiring, from Brazil, India, Russia, and Ukraine. So the way that the Estonian startup visa process works is that you need to apply and test whether your company would be eligible in the first place. And then you can apply for startup status under Startup Estonia, which is a sister organization to Enterprise Estonia that we cooperate with very closely. If the startup committee that they operate assesses your startup positively, then you'll be granted the waiver on the normal business visa requirements, and then you begin the normal visa application process. And of course, if you're looking to move to Estonia, we have lots of resources to help you with that. We have migration advisors. We have a Settle in Estonia website, and there's something called the International House Estonia, which is in Estonia, so all focused on helping with relocation and acclimating into the country. The startup visa is often confused with e-residency, so it's important that we call out the difference. So e-residency is open to everyone because it provides you a digital identity that allows you to then access the digital infrastructure and services available in the country. So e-residency really is virtual access to the Estonian ecosystem. It's not citizenship. It's not a permit to enter the country. The main purpose of it really is to facilitate an ease of doing business remotely by leveraging Estonian e-services and service providers that are also operating on that network and the technology stack. And currently, there are over 60,000 e-residents globally. And that's contrasted against the startup visa, which is specifically intended to provide you physical access to the Estonian ecosystem, which is an extremely powerful ecosystem. And once you're in it, the leverage and access that you have to successful founders from all the unicorns, from large companies, unparalleled and can really, really be a boon to your business. It is a visa, so it gives you a permit to enter the country, and the goal and hope of it really is that there's relocation being facilitated through this program. And my colleagues on the Startup Estonia side have a a 35% success rate. So meaning the ones who actually apply and are given the startup status, which then gives the eligibility to apply for a D visa or temporary residency permit. And here you can see somebody who successfully applied, Edelson Osorio. We made a matrix listing many jurisdictions and crossing tax regulations and costs. Plus, because of our idea approaching the EU market in the future, Estonia jumped to the top of the list. And it's not surprising why, because there really is a lot to be had in the country. So anybody who's interested in the startup visa program specifically, please reach out to either myself or Ron, and we can make sure that you're put in touch with the right people. And of course, you'll be meeting representatives from Startup Estonia in person during the mission in Tallinn. So let's jump back to just kind of hitting again all the major points on the ease of doing business there, right? So the cornerstones of Estonian economic growth really are entrepreneurship and export. And that's why the state contributes so heavily to creating an attractive business environment, and has really worked to reduce the scale of bureaucracy that you'll encounter as a business, as an entrepreneur, to the bare minimum, so that you can focus not on the paperwork, but on actually doing your business, and making it easy in a safe, transparent, and secure environment. More than 95% of tax declarations are filed online. In fact, this year they'll be rolling out fully automized tax reporting. They're calling it Reporting 3.0. And of course, the e-residency is your key to access all of that. As promised, more details on our very attractive corporate tax rates in Estonia. There's 0% corporate income tax on reinvested profits. What that means, in short, is that if the money stays in the company and is not redistributed as a dividend, there is no tax on that profit, which is truly amazing and extremely competitive. If you choose to distribute that profit, then the income tax that is charged ranges between 14 and 20%, depending on circumstances. The personal income tax rate used to be flat. It's now a progressive system, but it still is basically around the 20-21% rate. VAT, as mentioned, is 20%, and employers do pay 33% social tax on employee salary. So that's something to be aware of. But we don't have any property tax, and the land tax in Estonia as well is quite low. Again, just really hitting home that point that we are number one in tax competitiveness. So it's a very, very strong leg to stand on. So we like to make sure people are aware of it. In terms of the labor market, we have a total labor force of about 700,000 people, 5.5% unemployment rate as of 2018. The average wage in Estonia in 2018 was 1,310 euros. So we are extremely affordable and competitive compared to many of our neighbors in the EU. For example, salaries in Estonia are generally 2 to 4 times less than in Finland, while offering workers a comparable quality and standard of life. So we're not just talented, but we're very affordable. So it's a great place to set up shop and do business. 10 public holidays a year, standard 40-hour a week work week, and in Estonia, there are actually 28 days of annual vacation mandated by law, which is amazing, especially speaking as an American, where you're lucky if you get 2 weeks. So it's a very, very employee-friendly environment from that perspective as well. So just to highlight a couple of success stories very quickly, because I see we're running out of time, and I want to make sure that we do get through everything. Kuehne and Nagel, global leader in logistics, they came to Estonia in 2006. Fast forward to now, they've got 100 employees in R&D and testing, and 200 employees working in global support. They really, really love being in Estonia, and we hope that you will look at our country for your business as well. We are from here. I'm going to speed through these next slides just to recap on the points that I've already covered. So we have world-class human capital, smart and hardworking people. 86% of adults speak at least one foreign language, usually English. Um, and it's a absolutely fabulous place to experiment and use as a test bed for innovative ideas. The government in 2017 actually made it legal to test self-driven vehicles on all national and local roads in the country because we believe that self-driving technology will help improve road safety and road use efficiency. Work is also underway to create a full legal and cyber risk management framework for using fully autonomous vehicles in regular road and traffic conditions. So we really are leading the world in terms of the legal thought on this front as well. If you are doing anything in blockchain, Estonia is also the place to be. We were the first nation state in the world to deploy blockchain technology in production on all systems in 2012. Of course, KSI blockchain is not the same as Bitcoin, but blockchain technology is integrated in the verification of government registries and data. It's a very, very innovative place. And one of the most exciting places where there is significant growth happening is actually AI in the public sector. In Estonia, AI is a top priority topic at a national level based on the Digital Agenda 2020 for Estonia. So the general objective in the country is to actually have 50 use cases of artificial intelligence in the public sector in Estonia, led by the government CIO. So they're working to develop legal framework, and in 2018 there were 10 use cases live, and this year the number should hit 50. So if you're doing anything in the AI space, Estonia is an excellent environment. And I will end this portion of the presentation lastly speaking about cyberspace. So Estonia is actually the home for the NATO Cybersecurity Center of Excellence and the EU IT agency. Estonia is a world leader on all things cyber defense related, and let's say like this: if you're doing anything in cybersecurity and cyber defense, Estonia is a very, very compelling place for you to be because you have access to resource, you have access to talent, you have access to experience, and you have access to international organizations that can be strong partners for you. So I will now jump in and try and run through this portion very quickly that on the engineering industry specifically in Estonia that was put together by my colleague from the Federation of Estonian Engineering Industry, who wasn't able to join us today. So briefly about the Federation, they have 115 members comprised of industrial companies, engineering services, universities, vocational schools. 12 members sit on their advisory board, and it's Estonia's biggest industrial area umbrella organization and growing. And their priorities really are looking at next generation technologies, lobbying and publicity of Estonian businesses, and facilitating business development for their members. The biggest companies in their portfolio of members are BLRT, Hansa Mechanics, Fortaco Estonia, Fortaco Estonia, Hecotech, and AQ Laser Tool. They leverage 150 years of experience in engineering and metalwork across all the companies that are members, and 2,200 companies specifically are working in engineering and metalworking, and 7,000 in the industrial area. So if you're looking to source services, manufactured goods, anything that requires technical know-how, you'll the Federation of Estonian Engineering Industry on the trade mission. And Ron and I and my colleagues at Enterprise Estonia in Tallinn will be very happy to work with you to arrange one-on-one meetings with anybody who you might find of interest. The association covers broadly 35,000 employees, and of all the products produced from their member companies, about 80 to 90% are actually exported. And the overall, the engineering industry in Estonia represents about 10% of Estonian export. Some members of note and highlight are Cleveron. So they're the world's first robotics-based click-and-collect automation solution. They actually have these machines set up in Walmart here in the States. So really, really innovative ways to get your package, and a game changer in the world of e-commerce and the offline experience and component of that. They've also developed a self-driving robot courier that you can see here, which is, let's say, much larger than the Starship robots that you saw, and very, very cool technology, and of course working closely on all things related to the legal changes to make this automation technology roadworthy. Hecotech is specialized in the design and production of woodworking technologies and facilities. BLRT is shipbuilding and repair. Baltic Workboats does specialized and special purpose boat design and manufacture. Palms works with forest cranes and trailers, so engineering also related to the lumber industry. 3-Odd System specializes in drones. Luxus Yacht makes very beautiful luxury yachts. And Tech Group specializes in medical device production. So there really is something for everyone. In fact, Magnetic MRO is actually a total technical care, maintenance, and asset management for airline fleets. It's amazing what's happening in Estonia. Operail works on locomotive modernization. And Taltech, which is one of our universities, who you'll be meeting as well during the mission, has built a self-driving car, which is really, really cool. So why do business with Estonian companies? In case you're not already raring to go, I'll throw a few more points at you. Estonia has a Scandinavian business culture, so people are prompt, straight to the point, and they do what they say, and they do it quickly. Companies are using more robots and digitalization solutions. The country enjoys a really flexible and open mindset. And there's very much a focus on product development and engineering, especially in this sector in particular, that really creates world-class products that are always ready to find new export markets. So whether you're looking for subcontracting companies and product developers, or startups, or looking to establish your own industrial facility in the country, it is absolutely the place to be. So you'll have a copy of this presentation after, and these are the contact details for my colleague Trine. She will be very happy if you reach out to her to discuss anything, and of course you can go through myself and Ron, and we can make sure that we facilitate really productive and interesting meetings for you on the mission. And with that, I will hand it off to Victoria, who will give you a quick run-through of Entify.
Hello, everybody, and James for the amazing presentation. I don't think about it like every day, but yes, you're right. I haven't signed any legal documents or anything for more than 10 years. And yes, I declare my taxes online, and we actually established Entify online, and we are using digital ID to sign all the documents that are related to our business. So yeah, it is amazing and super easy environment where to live and where to run your business. But to continue with Entify, and just a short story how I actually ended up in Entify. Because before joining Entify, I worked for e-residency program, that is digital ID for foreigners that James already covered. And before that, I actually worked for more than 10 years for Scandinavian banks that are operating in Estonia. And the main issue that we faced, and actually banking sector isn't like the only sector that faces the problem or issue. All the companies that sell or yes, sell their products or offer their services internationally to international business customers or partners actually face the same issue. And the issue is that how to verify the international business partners or foreign companies, and because you need to ask notarized documents that are usually on paper. It always takes time. Onboarding for like banking is up to 2 months for a foreign customer. So it is actually painful. And when Neme Org, the founder and managing director of Entify, actually came to me with the idea to establish company that actually offers automated one-click legal entity verification solution, and he actually asked me to come and build the product, my first thought was like, hell, is it actually possible? Because I have like suffered the pain for more than 10 years, and I know like many companies actually suffer the same thing. But I guess it's like thanks to the Estonian mentality or out of box thinking, I was like, if everything is possible by doing digitally or automatically, why can't I actually automate the process how to verify the legal entity? And that's how actually Entify was founded in the end of 2018. So next slide, please. Can you hear me? Okay. So yeah, the current situation is that the onboarding time is, as I said, up to actually 2 months. Big companies are losing money because, yes, if you don't know your customer, you can actually end up with like fraud cases or some sanctions or just reputation risks that are actually very, very high costing. Next slide. So yes, we can actually take the next slide. So solution that we are actually providing is as I already mentioned, one-click complete background check. That is like fully automated. It is very easy to integrate because we offer two kind of integration methods. One is through API, where our customer's back office is communicating with our back office, and everything is machine readable. All the results are machine readable and super easy to integrate into customers' solutions. And front-end SDK solution where our customers who use for onboarding their home pages, then they can actually integrate our solution into their onboarding procedure. And the third possibility actually that we provide is self-service environment for those who don't have fancy customer back office solutions, or they don't use for onboarding their online pages. So we offer self-service environment where everything is beautiful, super easy to read. You can see all your verifications and actually download reports. So yes, 3 methods how to use our solution. Next slide, please. So yes, there's actually a draft of our final report where we actually highlight every risk for a customer. So it's basically an easy readable business tool for our customers, so they can actually decide whether to onboard the business customer or whether to partner up with some foreign partner. And regarding the worldwide coverage, we can find information about basically any company from around the globe. Entify is connected to business registries, ownership databases, sanction and criminal watch lists. And yes, we use more than 2,000 databases in total. So what can you find in that final report? That is the value that we offer. So you will actually find out whether the company exists, when it was registered, who are the legal representatives, shareholders, who are the real owners of the companies, and where the company's business activity is, what is their business activity, and all the people and the companies which are related to that business entity go through the sanction list check and anti-money laundering watch list check. So yes, we can actually continue now. Next slide. So yeah, about the packages that we offer, there are like four very straightforward packages. Of course, it always depends what kind of features and checks our customer actually desires or requests. So yes, next slide. And as I already mentioned, it is super easy to use. 2 integration methods that I already covered: API, front-end SDK, and self-service. That actually shows real-time verifications. Next slide. Yeah, there is some like pros and cons why to use Entify compared to I even can't say like other service providers, but similar services or aggregators of the data. We are like more automated. We are the only ones who offer 3 methods how to use our service. And as we are the only ones who offer the final report as it is, we can say that we are like full business verification solution for basically every need. Next slide. So yes, I have actually basically covered all the good things that we offer. Yes, it is automated, all in one solution. Yes, we have worldwide coverage. Thanks to our solution, the onboarding of our customers actually takes 15 minutes instead of the average 32 days. And yes, full report that actually is compliant with anti-money laundering regulation in EU and in states. Next slide. About the team, I briefly mentioned what I have done. Actually, all our team members or all the key persons have a very strong background either in anti-money laundering, banking, or digital identity or verification. So yes, I'm super proud to be like a member of Entify family. Next slide. And thank you, James, for reminding me to talk about Entify. And as you can see, all the contacts are here, and I really hope to see you in May. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Victoria. So that brings us to the end of our presentation, and Ron and I will happily take your Q&As.
Yes. Before we take our Q&As, James, can you move the slide in the last part? Okay, we would hope to see you guys in the trade mission in Estonia. So what are the benefits of attending the trade mission to Estonia? So you'll be able to meet 200 plus investors, 700 plus executive from 150 plus startups, and government official. If you participate, you will be able to attend networking events, site visits, one-on-one meetings, and the benefit is sector-specific briefing and site visits, a customized agenda for each delegate, access for experienced trade commissioners, assistance from Enterprise Estonia. So the application will close at 15th of March 2020 or earlier if places are all filled. So if you guys have a question about the trade mission, we will definitely send you a follow-up email within 24 hours. So right now, after this, I will start a poll. So we hope that you can answer the poll right now. We have one question about this presentation. And while we're waiting for the result of the poll, you can go ahead and go proceed with the Q&A. I already got 4 questions for James, and I already sent it to him. So James will answer the first question for you guys, and then you can keep posting your question. I will get the question from the Q&A tabs. Go ahead, James.
So, Ron, the questions that you passed to me, we'll start with the first. Are there existing trade between Nigeria and Estonia? I want to say yes, but I say that with the caveat that I'm the director of U.S. Business and Innovation, and I sit in New York. So Nigeria is not necessarily in my purview, and I unfortunately don't have stats and metrics specific to that bilateral agreement. And let's see the next one. So the wage of 1,310 euros. So this is monthly. In Estonia, you're generally paid once a month versus in the US where it's every 2 weeks. How to get a visa? Apply through your consulate or embassy. That is absolutely the way to go. If you're looking specifically for a startup visa, you can start that process on startupestonia.ee, and you can go from there. But ultimately, visas are always issued through the consulates and embassies. So I represent a medical clinic with a patient base that comes to us from around the world. We offer all natural nutrient-based treatment for mental health concerns. All of your European partners come to travel to us in suburban Chicago. There might be a way to develop a partnership, but that's definitely outside the scope of what we can cover in this webinar. So I would encourage you to reach out to either Ron or myself, and we can set up a call and we can dive into the specifics of your business directly and see what might be done and where we can direct you and advise you. Ron, you posted here the agri-dairy sector. Specifically what?
Mr. Sujit, what's about agri and dairy sector? Can you clarify that? We'll get back on that question. So
okay, super. So
Next.
so the prices mentioned are not clear. So I think you're talking about the question regarding wages. So the question was the wage noted of 1,310 euros as an average in Estonia. Whether this is weekly, monthly, or an annual wage, this is a monthly wage. I hope the audio came through clearly on that.
Okay, so yes, we will going to email the presentation. At the cost of the trade mission, we will be sending a follow-up email with that and the visa requirement. Please wait for our follow-up email. Yes, we will send details about that, Farouk. The next question, James, is: do you see significant VC partnerships happening in Estonia?
Yes, there's a huge influx of venture capital into Estonian businesses. As I said, I believe it's been about €1 million raised over the last 12 years. And the Estonian investment community is always keen and eager to partner with venture capitalists and angels abroad to co-invest, to cooperate on deal flow and pipeline, and generally do more deals together. Additionally, Estonian VC firms, some of them are looking domestically within Estonia at deal flow and opportunities, but there's also a significant segment that are, with the success of their portfolios, looking more and more abroad to deal flow and opportunities that are outside of Estonia as well. So definitely, there's a tremendous opportunity for cooperation and collaboration on that front.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, it's a great presentation. Thank you so much for that. Question is: do you have the Center of Excellence for B2B e-commerce in Estonia?
A center of excellence for B2B e-commerce.
Yep.
No, that in that form doesn't exist, but Enterprise Estonia, as a public agency, definitely has competencies that can be leveraged and be developed. And I'd welcome a conversation with you on it.
Okay. And how many B2B SaaS companies present in Estonia?
So specifically, I don't know the exact tally on that sub of the overall startup population. However, there is on if you go to startupestonia.e, they just rolled out a startup database that catalogs the nearly 1,000 startups that are operating in the country, and you should be able to sort and find all the data you'd like.
Okay, thank you. Can we have a manufacturing unit in India and have an office in Estonia? I'm into bamboo made products.
Yes, of course, you can set up an office in Estonia with manufacturing elsewhere, and my colleagues in Tallinn would be very happy to speak with you about establishing a presence in the country. Absolutely.
Thank you. Is your contact information? Yes, contact information will be included on the email we will be sent together with the presentation. Okay, so someone said about animal biometrics and digitize of dairy sector, or maybe it's dairy.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that, Ron?
Animal biometrics, and how about digitation of, I think it's dairy sector.
I'm not sure off the top of my head specifically. I would also need more information and clarity. But I encourage you, please come to Ron or myself, and we can get you all the information that you need.
Yes, so please send me an email, and I will forward it to James. We will be sending email follow-up within the next 24 hours. We are in freight forwarding and transportation business. We need specific details to start up on a subject trade.
I'm sorry, one more time, Ron. I'm so sorry. The whole quality is.
Sorry. We are in a freight forwarding and transportation business. We need specific details to start up on a subject trade.
Okay, please reach out to me, and I'll make sure you get the information you need.
Okay. So, okay. All right. So this from a chairperson from Canada, Mr. Akram Hamid. I'm doing several projects right now at the GCC utilizing VR especially for libraries. Other projects in Math for School looking for VR firms with very unique prospect to tackle this project. These projects are semi-government project. I don't know what's the question for that, sir, but um, next is we saw a lot of product-based companies. What is the scope of services-based companies such as IT services?
I'm sorry. Please repeat the tail end of that question, Ron. That there were a lot of product-based companies. What were the service-based?
What is the scope for services-based companies such as IT services?
I'm sorry. You'll have to send that question to me afterwards. The call quality, unfortunately, is degrading.
Let me
I couldn't make it out.
send it now.
Okay, so we saw a lot of product-based companies. What is the scope for services-based companies such as IT services? IT services are extremely prevalent, as you can imagine, in Estonia. There are, I now have the stat here, that there are actually 373 B2B SaaS companies in Estonia, and the IT services sector, the ICT sector, is one of our core sectors in the country. I hope that answers the question.
I send you the next question.
Okay, other projects for VR firms. Yes, we have some excellent. We have excellent VR firms in the country, and I would be very happy to put you in touch with them. So just reach out to Ron and myself afterwards, and we'll make sure that those introductions happen. And if you're attending the mission as well, then we'll make sure that the in-person meetings happen.
Yes, Mr. Hamid, I will reach out to you tomorrow about this, and I will give your James' contact information. How about growth in manufacturing industry?
Specifically, it's growing. Specifically, what's the question?
Okay, Mr. Mason, send me an email about your question and more specific question about this. What about rent fees? Well, salary ranges is already mentioned. Is it easy to win tenders in Estonia?
So tenders in Estonia are like tenders everywhere. There's a formal process, and the best vendor who competes with the most compelling offer in their response will win. But tenders are generally open to all who apply, as long as you're meeting the criteria of the specific proposal.
Okay, next question was sent to you, James.
So India on IoT, school virtual, okay, is school virtual e-logistics along with, there is, okay, so I'll read the question. So we're a startup in India on IoT, school virtual schools and e-logistics along with GPS. Is there any scope for me in terms of an engineering team or in terms of product market fit? I'm not sure I understand the question necessarily.
Mr. Salim, please send me specific question after the follow-up, and then we will address that. Is there any of the top 50 universities in Estonia?
Top 15 universities based on whose ranking?
That will be EBT Karaat. Please clarify that question. Send me an email so we can answer that for you.
So, and yes, I will say that Estonian universities are excellent, and Tartu University, in particular, I happen to know offhand, is in the top 1.2% of universities globally.
Okay. Next question is on I sent it to you.
What percent of GDP transport and logistics? I don't know that number specifically off the top of my head, but I will get back to you on that.
Yep, we'll definitely get back to you. I'm in UAE. How can I apply for a visa? We will definitely send you the procedure on that. with our follow-up email. And WhatsApp, well, I do have WhatsApp. We can also send that information to you once we do the follow-up. So that's all the question. If, for those question that is not answered yet, because we need to have a specific question for those, send me an email and we can definitely answer the question for you. Do you have any other question in mind? You can broadcast your message right on the message pad right now. Um, I think that's all. Well, I hope that you answered the polls on the third tab of the platform. And again, we will be sending the presentation. We will send you a follow-up within the next 24 hours together with the information on how to register to the trade mission in Estonia. We all hope to see you there. Again, if your question was not answered today, please send me an email within the next 24 hours and we will definitely answer the question for you. So with that being said, thank you so much, James, for that very informative presentation. And thank you guys for attending the webinar today. We hope to see you in Estonia for the trade mission. James, your final word.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And yeah, we look forward to seeing you. And don't be shy with your questions. We'd love to have you on the mission. We'd love to have you in Estonia and show you all the amazing opportunities that are available to you there. Thank
all
you,
right.
everyone.
So have a wonderful day, everyone. Goodbye. Bye, James.
Bye.